There's a new movie that Kevin Smith is coming out in the next couple of weeks that's been getting a lot of attention in the media for its controversial material, and excuse me, I apologize, and its subject matter. His new film is called Red State. Red State is basically his first film. From what I understand, is doing his first horror movie. Now, I don't really think it's a horror movie, but I'll get into that in a minute. Basically, Kevin Smith is promoting this film, which is coming out in DVD on October 18th, but it's coming out in theaters for one day on September 30th. The basis of this story is what this story is really about is it's about these three teenagers who try to go on a little sex adventure, and they go and meet Melissa Leo's character, who happens to be not exactly the person they were going to meet on for like the sex adventure, because basically they were searching for this girl on this website where, you know, they don't really see their face, but they check out their body, and apparently they get an address, and they go to visit this person and find out that Melissa Leo is the person they're coming to visit. That's her character. And what happens is that they were going to have an orgy with her, and then suddenly it's more like a setup where basically Melissa Leo drugs their beers and they get drunk, and then suddenly they are in some sort of hellish world of extreme fundamentalists led by Michael Park's character. Now, without getting too into the story, because it leads to other areas as to how the FBI got involved and how the ATF got involved, and you know, it gets to an extreme shootout, which you'll see towards the end of the film. But I won't tell exactly what happened at the end, because believe me, you all will be disappointed on it. But I saw this movie and I said to myself, you know something, you know, it started off interesting because I thought that they really were going somewhere. I don't really believe this movie is a horror movie. I believe this is more like a thriller. But it start off rather interesting. These three kids try to get their way out of this extremist church or compound, and basically there's a lot of shootouts, a lot of like gun blasts that, you know, it didn't look cheesy looking at all. It looked like there was some hardcore shit going on here. I especially loved the compound shootout scenes that were happening there. The only disappointment that I hated about this film was the very end. I thought the very end kind of cheated us at the end. It was almost like Kevin Smith didn't know what to do at the end of this film. But for the most part, you know, this movie, you know, I think this film is not worth $100 to go check out. Because it's funny, because a lot of people were talking about Red State, and some people have said, you know, this is the greatest Kevin Smith film. And you know something? I like Kevin Smith. I like Chasing Amy. You know, Chasing Amy is probably one of his best films of the Jersey Chronicles. That's just my personal opinion on it. But this film, you know, Red State, it's good until you get to the very end. When you see the very end of the film, you feel like you've been cheated at the end. Because, you know, because I would tell you all what happened and then, but, you know, because it would spoil it. I don't really like to spoil endings for people, but when you see this ending, you will feel like, how did they go from this big shootout to this scene? You know, and I'll give you all a hint. There's singing at the end. When you see this, you'll be like, Kevin, what the fuck are you making here? You know, I like you, Kevin. Dogs, you know, you make very good stuff. You know, I like your little comic books. I love The Guardian Devil. Wasn't too crazy about the Green Arrow joints. You know, you do interesting stuff. You're an interesting stand-up comic. You know, I like some of your, you know, your Clark your Jersey Chronicles stories that you're trying to put out there. You did something different, which was you were getting to a really good point, and then when you got to the ending, because the reason why I keep talking about the ending so bad was the shootout scene. When you see it, is so good. It's just a gore scene. I'm talking about, you know, Kevin Smith showed me that I think he could do an action movie. I mean, Obviously he must have listened to John Peters, because he put action scenes in there that were really, really intense. And there were some shocking moments during that compound scene. And then I thought, you know what? Kevin Smith, for the next 20 minutes, it's going to be like a John Woo film, where it's just going to be a big shootout. And I said, okay, Kevin Smith caught my attention. It doesn't have a lot of sex, but it does have his, cursing, and it has its controversial subject matter, because he talks about gays like he normally does in all his films. But I just found it interesting that, think of this movie when you watch, this is like another one of those, like, David Koresh, Waco, Texas dramas that you see. If you've seen like a Criminal Minds episode, they've done it before. If you've seen like the Waco movies, they've done subject matter like this, where Michael Park's character is sort of like the David Koresh or the Jim Jones of that time era. And now that Kevin Smith has made the movie, he kind of gave him this character sort of an he was anti-gay about everything. Like, everything was about hating homosexuals. So, for gay people, you might be offended by this, but, if you know Kevin Smith, he's not sensitive about talking about homosexuality, but yet at the same time, this movie was going somewhere. I think this story would have been so much better. You were focusing on the teens, and you killed them off rather quick. Then you get to the shootout, which was getting so interesting, and then the ending just kind of blows it. So, as much as I love Kevin, Red State is a little, there's too much hype over it. I personally believe that I would wait till the movie got down to about $5 and, spend that kind of money, because to tell you the truth, it is not worth $20. It's not worth no one-day show. The movie is, he's kind of like hyping it up, but something, I ain't gonna lie, I got caught up on the hype too, but the ending kind of like spoiled it for me. I'm like, John Goodman's character, he was okay, but something, I love it's a very interesting story where they were going it, but they kind of messed it up at the end. And I felt like, what, Kevin Smith, when you do another movie like this, please, 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 no singing at the end, dog. I mean, you did this thing where, like, you're gonna cheat out the audience. If I was you, I would just let this come out for DVD, and make the DVD sales. You're trying to do the one-day movie premiere, and then afterwards you're gonna take it out, and then you're gonna put it out for DVD. And I mean, come on, man. I mean, too much hype over this little silly film. But you know what? In my personal opinion, it's only worth $5. So tell yourself, you know what? When you go to see this movie, it starts off really good and it gets interesting, but at the end of the day, Kevin Smith is trying to jerk you out of that money. So you know what? He's already rich already. He's got Secret Stash, that comic book store. Don't make this man any more richer by the bullshit that it's coming out with. Because to tell you the truth, Kevin, as much as I like you, dog, you had an interesting movie going here, but something, at the end of the day, you're going to cheat the audience out. And you're going to see, when you see this movie come out, people are going to say, okay, good movie, but overly hyped. This movie was okay, but it was too slow. It's like low budget. I mean, you're going to have mixed feelings. This ain't the best film ever, but something, it was good, I'll put it that way, but not great. So check out Red State when it comes out on DVD. Don't rush to go to the theater for this nonsense. And when it comes out on DVD, wait till it gets down to about $5. Believe me, that's all it's really worth. To tell you the truth, it's worth 99 cents. But if you're willing to spend $5, hey, spend it on 5. So that's my interesting review on Red State. I hope that you guys check out the film and you tell me what you think when it comes out. Believe me, there are other ways of checking it out, but I'll plead the fifth on that one. But the point is that when you see the film, don't get duped by Kevin's hyping the film up. I mean, Kevin's a good director. He has potential in making a great action film, But right now, you know, I wasn't feeling this ending of the film, so rather disappointed. And you know something, I give a thumbs down on the ending, but you know, all in all, it's okay. You know, if I had to judge it on a thumbs up, thumbs down, it gets a thumbs down because the ending kind of jerked us. It kind of like cheated us at the end. So disappointed, Kevin, and I hope you come out with a different film soon. Peace.